Hello and welcome back to the latest episode of the Golf Ireland pod. I am delighted to be your host, Stephen Murphy, back with another great episode. A start of November now, which is crazy. The year is nearly over, but we still have a few more pods for you to keep you going for all your golf needs. Big show today. I'll be speaking with Golf for All champion Alan Gaynor about his career and the ISPS Handa Irish Open for golfers with a disability, which will be taking place next year as well, and his thoughts on that, which is brilliant. But as always, we will start with last week's action, and we will start with the Espirito Santo Trophy, which took place at Abu Dhabi Golf Club, where we had the Irish women's team over there representing us. And Irish captain Niamh Quigg believes the future is bright as the team finished tied 13th. The team of Anya Donegan, Sarah Byrne and Beck Coulter battled hard against the best players in the world in sweltering conditions all week. And ultimately it was the Lahinch golfer Donegan who made the most of her chances, as she was still in contention in the individual rankings heading into the final round. However, a closing 74 ensured she finished tied 25th, just ahead of Byrne, who ended up in tied 31st. The Douglas golfer was tied for the lead after the opening round, yet she started absolutely brilliantly. And then Coulter, who also had a strong start of the week but couldn't back up her initial round of 71, and Ireland were unfortunate to miss out on a top 10 finish. But still a fantastic week, and well done to Anya, Sarah and Beth for all their efforts over there in Abu Dhabi. And Sarah Byrne in particular didn't waste much time when she got back to Miami. She broke the 18-hole program record with a 63 in the second round of the Hurricane Invitational. So Sarah didn't waste any time when she got back to the States. She was back breaking records again. So well done to all the women there, and well done to everyone involved there with the Espirito Santo Trophy. Also, we had the InterVarsities. Maynooth University golfer Liam Abaum claimed the Irish InterVarsity Championship at Laytown and Bettystown. The 20-year-old carried a brilliant 4 on the round of 67 on Friday to claim the victory by 3 shots over Emma Fleming in second, who picked up the women's title. So well done to Liam and Emma there. Meanwhile, Maynooth University also claimed the team event, with Abaum and Simon Walker combining for a brilliant overall score of 10 under ahead of UCD in second. The Edmondstown man shared the individual lead with his colleague Owen Murphy on 6 under overnight, with a 3-way tie on 5 under behind. However, as the conditions improved on Friday morning, the scoring got better too. Fleming was first to make a move, and she joined the leader after a birdie on the second, but Abaum caught fire from the 4th hole onwards, a streak that began with an eagle. He followed that up with 3 birdies by the 11th and remained composed through the back 9 to take the title. Some great shooting there, and some great results. So congratulations to everyone involved in InterVarsities. And I now will throw it over to my conversation with Alan Gaynor. I'm now delighted to be joined by Alan Gaynor. Thank you so much for taking your time to come on the podcast here, Alan. How are you?
Very well, Stephen. Yeah, good to speak to you. Thanks for having me on.
No problem. Thank you for coming on. I really appreciate it. I wanted to first of all get a bit of a backstory on you, Alan, yourself. Tell us a bit about your backstory and how did you end up getting into golf?
Well, look, I'm from Sligo. I've been living here all my life, so only live a couple of hundred yards at the minute, actually, from County Sligo at home. So golf in Ross's Point Village has pretty much been, always there. So my dad got me into the game when it was about 4 or 5. I've been playing since, pretty much every weekend since. It's been playing a lot since the age of 4 or 5, and just kind of got addicted very early on, and living where we live, that there's not much to do, but golf is definitely, we're spoiled for choice with golf in Sligo, that's for sure.
There's no addiction like it, isn't there? Not when you're really hooked in.
You get hooked very early on. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And when did you realize? I ask all the elite golfers. When did you realize that you were actually very good at golf? When did it sink in?
I don't know. I don't even know if I know yet. I suppose when it was got to maybe secondary school, maybe that kind of level. I played every sport growing up, like most lads. Golf, soccer, tennis, a bit of everything. So. I played probably more soccer growing up than golf before they got to maybe 14 or 15, and golf kind of took over from there. I suppose like anyone, when you get down to maybe single figures, that's when you realise maybe there might be something here. So I always took it seriously and played a lot during the summers. But yeah, I suppose when I got to, I don't exactly remember when I got to single figures, but from when I got to single figures, I kind of started tumbling down in handicap. I would have started taking the golf a lot more seriously then. And I suppose then I got to maybe towards scratch when I was maybe towards my late teens. So from there, kind of, I suppose, really started taking it a bit more seriously at that stage.
Brilliant. And for people who are not educated on this, and I include myself in this, can you describe some of the barriers and challenges of playing golf for yourself?
To be honest, I was born with my disability, so I know no different. So I to be brutally honest with you, I don't really see it as a barrier. I never have. But I suppose, look, my disability, for people that don't know, is I have a deficiency in my left hand. I had toe to hand transfer surgery when I was very young. I was only maybe 2 or 3 years old, so I obviously don't remember it. But so I don't know any different. When I picked up a golf club, that I just gripped it and that was it. I've gripped the club the exact same way all the way through. So maybe at the slight barriers, I probably mightn't hit the ball as far as other elite golfers. But yeah, that's it. Stephen, to be honest, I've dealt with it all my life, so I don't see it as a barrier and never use it as an excuse.
And it definitely wasn't a barrier when you won the Irish Open for players with a disability at Roganstown this year. You won by 9 shots. How nice was it having that cushion coming down the stretch?
Yeah, it was nice. It was a bit different. Or usually, if you're trying to close out something or a score or a win, you're sweating a bit on it. But I kind of knew. I checked the score after I think the score was updated after maybe 6 or 7 holes, and I just had a quick look just to make sure it was all right, and I saw I had a good lead, so I could enjoy it for a change. So it was nice. It was nice to it's a win I'll look back on. Obviously as the years go on, it's nice to have the name on the trophy. Actually, I only got the trophy there a couple of weeks ago. I have it in the golf club at home here, so it's nice. It's nice to have it, and certainly I think something I'll look back on in years to come with great fondness.
Is it obviously a great problem to have, but is it tough to keep the concentration when you're that far ahead? Like, is it easy to kind of fall into bad, sloppy habits?
To be honest, I kind of put with the way the rankings work in the disability golf. It's actually the ranking you get is judged by the score you have rather than your result in the tournament. So that was actually a nice little way to kind of keep the focus. If I shoot the better score I shot, the better ranking points you get. So it's slightly different that you could shoot 20 over par, win the tournament, and it would actually affect your ranking the wrong way, or you could come third or fourth and shoot a couple of under par, and your ranking might improve. So the ranking system is a little bit different. It's probably the fairest way to do it. It's done in your score rather than say strength of the field, or basically if there's not extra points for coming first or 10th or wherever you finish. So that kind of focuses a good bit that you still need to shoot a good score regardless of where you're at in the tournament or how far ahead or behind you are.
Absolutely. Everyone preps for a tournament differently, Alan. How do you like to prep for a tournament?
Depends who you ask. I'd like to keep it kind of casual enough. I generally, if I can, like to play as much golf as possible leading up to a tournament. I'm more of a getting out, playing holes rather. I generally don't like beating balls in the range. Just I get bored very easily, so I like to play as much as possible. I practice short game a lot, but generally just the more I play, the more I feel I'm sharper. So I like to play. I play a lot of golf. And then in regards to getting there tournament wise, ideally you get more than one practice round. It's not always possible. So full practice rounds just to get main point for myself is get a feel for what you're going to do off the tee, and then around the greens, that'll be the big thing. Get the strategy right. But ideally you get more than one look at the course. But obviously with Roganstown, being here, I was able to play it 2 or 3 times before, and we'd had the event there last year, so I was well prepared for it and kind of had a good idea of what I wanted to do around the place.
And what's your expectations heading into the tournaments these days? Is there expectation there to win or at least contend, or is it going just kind of, is it more process based, play as well as you can?
Yeah, look at it. I don't generally don't tend to get too far ahead of myself, but I would have high expectations at this stage of I've been playing the disability golf for a couple of years now, so I kind of know the standard it is. It's really good standard, but I kind of know if I play my own good golf, I have a chance of doing well at it. So Yeah, look, you go in and you obviously would love to win the tournaments or do well, but every tournament is different, and every you don't know what's going to be thrown at you. You could have a bad hole, or you could have a good start, and you just got to keep stay present. So look, you have the expectations. You want to do well. Like a lot of the Irish lads we're all competing at it. So we all know we can do well if we play well. So. Yeah, there is an expectation there, but at the same time, you want to stay grounded as well and not be too reliant on results. You have to enjoy it as well at the end of the day.
Definitely. Now, you can talk to this obviously in more detail than I can, but even from my point of view, it seems that golf for people with disabilities has come on so much in the past, even 2 years, in terms of even entry numbers, the quality of golf, and the coverage of the events. Is that something that you've seen and noticed yourself for the last 2 years?
It's huge. I mean, it's part of the reason why I got involved. I was probably a little bit late to the party from some of the other lads. But obviously Brendan Lauder was the one who got it up and running and got it, through, in Ireland. He was probably the first that hit the headlines with it, and it's really since Golf Ireland got involved that it's kicked off. We would have, I suppose, the trailblazing side of it was last year when we turned up to Carton for the team event trials, and there was probably eight or nine players there. I don't think people were expecting that, and I think if we were to run something similar now next year, you'll have double numbers again. So yeah, it's getting more coverage and people doing well. Obviously, Brendan being the main one showing us what's possible. And people, I suppose, are just getting involved, and at all levels. Like, it's not just about the elite level side of it. Like, we're getting participants at every level of it. Sorry, and it's great to see. The numbers are only going to get bigger and better. And as as people may have seen, ISPS Handa getting involved is only going to help it again.
Yeah, we'll touch on that in a second, but just to touch on your point, because you even said you were late to it, how important is it to when you see something, whether it be online, whether it be on a television screen, how important is it to see it to then actually go ahead and be like, okay, I'm actually going to get involved in that?
Yeah, of course. Like, the coverage that it gets is really important because it's logically speaking, if people can't see it, you don't know about it, and you don't know where to get in touch to, for example, getting registered with your EDGA pass, stuff like that. So the more the likes of Golf Ireland or any of the golfing unions around Europe that have players involved, the more they can promote it, the more media attention they can get, just the more people are going to see it and realize that it's actually easy enough to get involved in it. And there's entry levels that there's all different types of entry levels. You don't have to be a scratch golfer. You don't have to be playing golf every day. You don't have to be very competitive at it. There's a bit of everything here for anybody to get involved. It's a great way to meet people. It's a great way to get out of your comfort zone a little bit. Maybe, I don't know. What different people's situations are. So the more people see of it, the more more it's in the media and everything. That's it's only going to grow, and obviously proof's in the pudding. It's been growing the last couple of years, and yeah, we expect it to continue.
Yeah, well said. You touched on it there. Golf Ireland did announce a partnership with ISPS Handa, which will see ISPS Handa become the title sponsor of the ISPS Handa Irish Open for golfers with a disability, which the 2024 event will take place at Roganstown Golf Club in County Dublin. Just as a player, as a competitor, what does having the backing of a company like that, what can that do for golfers with disabilities?
It's brilliant. I mean, like, it's you would have never thought a couple of years ago that it would happen, and it'd be possible that the main event in our country, we didn't even have an event two years ago, and now we have an event with a title sponsor and a sponsor that's committed to helping us. So it's fantastic, really. Like, because look, the expense to traveling around all these tournaments and getting to play it is brilliant, and everyone enjoys it, but there is obviously a good cost to it. So any help that we can get in regards to sponsorship or a little bit of funding here and there is greatly appreciated, and I'm sure this will be no different. And they've a fantastic reputation of helping sports people with disabilities. So it's brilliant to have them on board, and looking forward to getting started with them next year.
When you think about the next couple of years, Alan, and even longer in the future, how excited are you for the potential of what golf for people with disabilities in Ireland can become?
Yeah, it's huge. I mean, as I keep saying, at every level, there's just more and more events happening, more and more chances for people to get involved and to meet new people and enjoy the game. Most importantly, but at the top level, obviously, looking forward to next year. The events are starting to take shape, and the schedule is starting to be released. So yeah, personally looking forward to it. I get to play as much golf as possible, and hopefully, we've got the European Team Championships on again next year. So I'll be hopeful to make that team again, and we try and defend our title. That's the goal for next year.
Absolutely, and that event is in Roganstown, so surely you'll be eyeing that one up as a potential win.
Yeah. Hopefully, I'll just be lending the trophy back to them for a few days and taking it back on my way to Sligo again. Yeah, but look, we're just hoping that event will just get bigger and better again. That we nearly had. Well, I think we basically had double the amount of entries from year 1 to year 2. So it'll be great to have something similar again next year, or even higher again. I'm not sure how many the limit is, but hopefully we get the maximum entries and get a great couple of days in Roganstown. It's a brilliant venue for us, very handy for people to stay on site and very easy access. So it's a perfect venue for us, and yeah, already looking forward to it.
Absolutely, and if you're listening to this and you want to get involved, but by all means go down and watch it as well. You'll see some top quality golf.
Yeah, you won't regret it, definitely. Absolutely.
Definitely not. Well, Alan, look, thank you so much for coming on for a chat. It was absolutely brilliant to have you. We really do appreciate you giving up your time. And yeah, best of luck for next season. I'm sure we'll have you back on with more trophies in your cabinet.
All right, Stephen. Thanks very much.
And thank you again to Alan Gaynor for giving up his time to come to chat to me here on the Golf Ireland pod. A brilliant conversation, I'm sure you will agree. We'll move on now to the upcoming news, and reigning men's Bridgestone Order of Merit champion David Shiel and Shane McDermott will travel to Argentina next month. The Juan Carlos Tailhade Cup takes place in Los Lagartos Country Club, followed by the Argentine Stroke Play Championship in the Martindale Country Club as well. The format of the Juan Carlos Tailhade Cup is a 2-player team competition per country, with an individual competition from the 2nd to the 5th of November. And then the Argentine Stroke Play from the 8th to the 11th of November will be a 72-hole individual stroke play event. So best of luck to David and Shane there, who will be flying the flag for Golf Ireland over in Argentina in November. So best of luck to them and safe travels. And yes, that wraps up this week's episode of the Golf Ireland pod. Thank you as always for tuning in. We really do appreciate it. I hope you have a great week, and we will see you next week.